Praises to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakah, Quadash, and double honors to the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to the Yakim out there that continue to further this ministry throughout the four corners of the earth, and shalom to those that are learning and listening and growing thereby as well. And it's the brother Mark coming at you with another video concerning an article such as this from the Times of Israel.com. And I have an article here which was written by this woman here, and it's basically more of a blog website if anything else, but because they believe that they're the Israelites of the Bible, they actually believe that they're in a time of redemption, and in a sense they're correct, because the Lord is redeeming a people, but these are not the people, first and foremost, of the Most High, who he has come to redeem spiritually. All right. And most of these people, these Amalekites, they don't even believe in the Messiah. So the Messiah, which is what he's going to do, he's going to come back and literally redeem us from captivity. And these people are not in captivity. They are the captivators. They are the owners. They run the world. So how could they be the people of the Bible? Because the Israelites was prophesied that they would be ruled over by another nation because of the sins of their forefathers in these days and times. They would be pretty much under their enemy. So how could they be the people? Anyway, that's another video for another time. Let's get into it. It says, are we living in the time of redemption? Each Shabbat, religion, Zionist, synagogue, all over the world recites a venue, Shabbat Shemaim, the prayer of the welfare of the state of Israel. And there lies another problem, because the Lord is not setting up no state. There's no scripture in the Bible that says that the Lord is going to set up a state of Israel, but rather the nation of Israel instead. Okay? And I'll get into that in a minute. It says, our Father in heaven, Rock and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, the first flowering of our redemption. So they have the book of Ezekiel 36, which is what I'm going to read. And this right here, these scriptures don't apply to these people, and I'm going to further prove this. So anyway, it says, the mountains of Israel to be blessed. It's also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord Yahweh. And thus say the Lord power, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. So yeah, they would fit that instead. They would fit those that are enemies to the real Israelites, that are now possessing the land, that is saying ha ha. And the number one enemy to Jacob, or to the Israelites, are the Edomites. And that's exactly, according to the Bible, what these people are. They're nothing more than Edomites. All right, that's just their biblical nationality. That's not me making fun of them or anything like that. That's just their biblical real nationality. You know, as the higher elites already know, beginning with the Rothschild family, they know that they're the Edomites. But they cast themselves on front display as the people of God, when in fact they're Edomites. So let's go back and read Ezekiel 36, and we're going to read verse 2 now. It says, thus saith the Lord power, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in our possession. Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side. And they're not desolate. They haven't been swallowed up on every side. That you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of the people. That's what you get the word infamous from, which goes into you being defamed. And when you look at who runs the medias all around, they're nothing more than so-called Jews or Amalekites, according to the Bible. And every chance they get, they defame the so-called Negro. Every chance they get, whether it's through the rap music or whether it's through any form of other things that go on with the so-called Negro. They'll use these things and defame us as well as they get the chance to all the time and show all across the world. All right. And plus, we have been possessed, and these people are not being possessed. As a matter of fact, they're the possessors of the planet. They're the possessors of our people. All right. We're in the hands of these people. We're in their power structure. So the people that are calling the shots, that are changing the trends of the world today, are these people, beginning with the Rothschild family and those that run the media, those that run the the precious natural resources like your gemstones and all of these different things that make a man rich. They control all of that stuff. All right. So they can't be the people that they say they are. They can't be the Israelites. So let's read verse 3 again. Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord power, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side. And that's us. We've been made desolate. When you go around where Israel's at, I'm talking about the so-called black people, so-called Latin Native American and Indians are. We're living in the ghettos, man. The majority of our people are living in the ghettos, oppressed. Whether they're in Nigeria, whether they're in Brazil, whether they're in England, or whether they're in America, our people have been sent to live in pretty much squalor. All right, and swallowed you up on every side, meaning we've been scattered abroad and we've been covered over these other nations, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of the people, meaning we've been defamed of the other nations. We're bearing our reproach of the other nations. All right. And you have people that don't like these Amalekites as well, but the most defamed people on the face of the earth is the so-called black men. All right. So-called black people are the most defamed on the face of the earth. So rather, this is referring to us. Ezekiel 36 is referring to us. More so. It says, therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the words of the Lord power, Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord power to the mountains and to the hills, and to the rivers and to the valleys, and to the desolate waste, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision, to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, and this applied back then as well as it applies right now. Because during the time of Ezekiel, I believe he was prophesying around the time of the Babylonian Empire. And at the time we were desolate. All right. So it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which I have appointed my land into their possession. Check this out. Let's read this again. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, and that's who is inhabiting the land right now, which I have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart. So Ezekiel is prophesying that the Edomites would actually have access to our land. This is it right here. This is the prophecy of Ezekiel. Okay? And they actually believe and think, as they were taught, that they're the Israelites. But in fact, they're the Idumeans, which were prophesied to possess the land of Israel. Okay? Anyway, let's keep reading some more of this, man. It says, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds, and cast it out for a prey. Verse 6, prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy, and in my fury, because you have borne the shame of the heathen. We was worshiping other gods. We turned astray. So the Lord said, okay, you know what? You want to profane my name? I'm going to profane you. I'm going to cast you out of the land. You want to cast me out? Okay, I'll cast you out of the land, and then allow the Idumeans, the Edomites, which is another way of saying Edom in the Greek way, to possess the land. And that's what they've done right now. It says, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because you have borne the shame of the heathen, And therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I have lifted up mine hand, and surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame. But ye, O mountains of Israel, ye shall shoot forth your branches and yield your fruit to my people of Israel. So this is on the flip side, the positive side of things, for they are at hand to come. For behold, I am with you, and I will turn unto you, and ye shall be tilled and sown. And I will multiply men upon you in all the house of Israel, even all of it. And the city shall be inhabited, and the way shall be builded up. So here goes your restoration of the nation of Israel. First and foremost, the Messiah would have to be involved in that. And also David would have to come back and be involved in that. And there would be no state being set up. It would be by a nation being set up as a whole to reestablish Israel. All right. There's no Bible that says that the state would be formulated. A state of Israel would be formulated. And I will multiply men upon you, and all the house of Israel, even all of it, and the city shall be inhabited, and the way shall be builded. And who's going to build back the waste cities? It ain't going to be us. It's going to be the other nations. 36 verse 11, and I will multiply upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bring fruit. And I will settle you after your old estate, and I will do better unto you than at your beginnings. And ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Yea, I will cause men to walk upon you, even my people Israel, and they shall possess thee, and thou shalt bear their inheritance, and thou shalt no more henceforth berate of them of men. All right, so let's deal with Ezekiel 36 verse 11, because according to the book of also Isaiah 60 verse 22, it says this: a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten at this time. So if you look at the population of Israel today, with those Amalekites in it, it's only just about 8.8 million people overall. That ain't nothing. All right, because what did Moses say to the children of Israel? He said to them, look, remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, thy servants, to whom thou swearest by thine own self, and saidest unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven. This ain't the stars of heaven. All right, if you were to actually go and look into the skies, or should I say past the skies, you're going to see nothing but an innumerable amount of stars. In space is what I'm talking about. That's what I meant to say. If you were to go out in space, you're going to see an innumerable amount of stars. Okay? And there's more than 8 million stars in space, in this cosmos that we're in right now. All right? So our nation is going to be innumerable when the kingdom of heaven is set up. Plus, we're going to get access to having a lot of women. One man is going to be able to have as much as he wants, whether he want 300 women, some men 500 women, some men 1,000 women or plus. So this is how the nation of Israel is going to be multiplied abundantly. Not this 8.8 million nonsense, man. This is not, that ain't the stars of heaven. That's a small group of people. So anyway, it says, remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, thy servants, to whom thou swearest by thine own self, and saidest unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. And at the time of Moses and onwards, we wasn't able to inherit the land forever. Because even if we were to fast forward after Moses' time to the time of the Assyrians, what happened was the northern kingdom, they ventured off out of the land of Samaria, which is northern Israel, to serve the captivity of the Assyrian Empire. Okay, and then eventually Judah wound up being scattered abroad. You had some Israelites that were in the land, but you had the ones of us that were scattered as well. So that didn't happen. But when is that going to happen? When the kingdom of heaven is set up. from that time and onwards, we're going to inherit the land forever and ever. All right. So that's all I got to say on this. So I say